What's happening, friends? Welcome to the 302nd edition of Unlocked. It is the world's #1 Xbox show for June 28th, 2017, the depths of summer here in the wake of E3. Coming up on this week's show, a brand new game teased, complete with an awesome little trailer called Somerville from the co-creator of Limbo and Inside. We got a lot to talk about with regards to that. Also, Call of Duty 4 Remastered finally getting its standalone release. Not so much on Xbox yet, so that's dumb and annoying, and we'll talk about that. And also, the studio head at Arcane, makers of Dishonored and Prey, is stepping down, so we'll talk through that as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube if you do not already. Unlocked has its own YouTube channel, youtube.com/IGN Unlocked, or of course, or subscribe on your favorite podcast services. I'm Ryan McCaffrey. Strangely to my right, Marty Sleva.
What's happening?
Throwing a curveball this week. We've got the Shark Man himself, Sean Finnegan.
Chomp, chomp.
The ever popular, the returning hero, freshly shorn, Mark Medina, looking sharp over there.
Hello, everybody.
Good to see you, my friend.
Hello.
Thank you.
Everybody, you're the most popular Unlocked cast member.
I don't know about that.
Because people are either mad at Sean for some opinion he had, or they're mad at me for pretty much everything. Or
I don't think I've ever been
mad at Marty for existing.
Too much goofing.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been on a podcast with Sean. I've never seen this.
Really?
That threw me for a loop right now. I was like,
It did.
okay.
No.
It usually throws people for a loop.
Yeah.
Mostly
I like it,
because
though.
no one knows what it is.
Where did that come from?
Moving up, moving.
Where did Chomp
It's
Chomp?
a,
Sean the
it's,
Shark.
it's a long story, but that's the nickname. Yeah, that's why.
Well, I just wanted to tell you a quick story because I totally forgot last week, and it's becoming less and less relevant with each passing day. But so I sort of teased this. I almost had to miss E3 for the strangest of reasons. So I got in San Francisco. You are on call for jury duty when you get a jury duty summons for the entire week. It's not just one day and then you're free or you have to go in. It's Monday. You call Friday and it's like, okay, well, you're fine. You're good Monday. We don't need you. And you got to go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got to make it through the whole week.
Wait, even if they don't choose you?
Well, but yeah, you have to clear it 5 times before
Boss
you're
rush
off
mode.
the hook. Yeah. So,
Because everywhere else, it's just like, because I've had jury duty probably 3 times, and you just call, and they're like, oh, numbers between this and this, and then
everybody else
you're
is
done
fine.
for the year.
Not so much here in San Francisco. So I made it 3 days in, and then finally Thursday. This is the week before E3. I was due to leave, get on a plane on Saturday morning to be down there for the EA Play conference, and then everything else. But I figured it's fine. I'm not going to request. I didn't request the defer thing ahead of time. It's like, well, I have a plane ticket booked for my business, and then I was also going to Disneyland with my family immediately afterwards. So I had these like 2 ironclad excuses. Judge comes in, says, all right, this is going to be one of the shortest trials, like a little 1 or probably 2-day trial. So apparently because of that, he was just not having any of it, any excuses whatsoever. So they come around the room, who's got, well, first of all, I ended up in seat 24, which, 1 through 12 are like the default first up.
Right.
But then it ends up shuffling a lot and people fall out or excused or whatever. So I'm in 24. And he's like, so who's got, all right, raise your hand if you have a hardship. Right here, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a business trip. I have travel booked. I have a conference in LA. How many people are in your company? This, I realized, trap question.
Yeah.
Wait,
You said too many. You said too many.
Way
right?
too many because it's an irrelevant question.
Right.
It's an irrelevant question.
Is he setting it up like if there's a lot of people, then they're not?
So I said,
they don't need you?
I actually don't. I have no idea how many people work here. I said 150 because I think between the whole
Everyone at E3, it's
Yeah.
like 150.
So I was like, okay, about 150 people. And he said, okay, well, you'll get to your Disneyland trip. Like, but
what is that?
I was like, so I'm sort of
vital
to my not to brag, but I'm not trying to. Just like I'm sort of a vital member of our team.
lead previews at this is a giant preview
and it's
event.
a preview event.
No, he was, and then there was a mom who I probably had the most, in my opinion, ironclad situation, but he was not letting anybody else out the whole time. So,
Wow.
long story short, So they're going through. They have to sit through all the interviews, the picking the jury, and they were going in order. So if someone would get booted from the jury box for whatever reason, it went first seat 13 goes in, then 14. So I'm in 24.
Ugh.
It gets down to 23. Person 23 ends up on the jury, and then the judge is like, okay, do either of the lawyers want to let anybody go or challenge anything? And finally they're like, nope, we're good. So, but then there were still the two alternates. And I thought, well, how dumb would it be if after all that I still end up missing a giant chunk of E3 just to sit there and do nothing as an alternate? But thankfully they didn't choose me as an alternate. But
so you snuck out of there by the skin of your teeth.
Ryan McCaffrey sprints out of the
very close.
That's crazy.
I mean, like, I get that the judge is trying to move things along and but it's like, dude, like, you got to be kidding me with this. So never underestimate the power of a stickler of a judge, I guess.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I did not miss any E3.
I've never done jury duty.
You've been summoned a bunch. You just refuse to go.
It's weird. I don't really know what happened. Like, I know you're supposed to, at least once a year, you're supposed to get a summons. It may not get
it's not
chosen,
once
right?
a year. It's completely random.
Yeah.
Like, it's
okay.
I haven't gotten one in my 9 years.
I'm 30 years old.
Really?
And they must be going to like my parents' house or something, because I've literally never even seen one in the 12 years I've supposed to have been getting them.
This was my second one in 18 months.
Oh,
So,
wow. Yeah, see,
This
some
is
people are
making me
super
nervous.
unlucky.
I'm just gonna make
I don't know.
I haven't had one in 7 or 8 years. Every time I went, I wasn't even on the like jury stand. I was just like in the audience
The gallery,
part. Like they never even talked to me, and
Yeah.
I got to just leave. But then I haven't got one in a long time. But I know people like where it's like it seems like clockwork every 12 months.
Yeah, and it's like, any other time it would have been. I mean, I am so lucky. I love my job. I enjoy my job. I would rather be here than on a jury, which I know is like not a civically minded thing to say, but
Sure.
I mean, I have to imagine.
No one can blame you for that.
I have to imagine
E3?
some people might want to take a break from their job and go sit on a
Judge
jury.
people.
And, well, I mean, but yeah, like it's a vital time of year. But man, it's just like not so good on the timing.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
I get that.
I did escape.
Dodge a bullet.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on with the news, shall we? Actually, no. It's a slow news week, so I wanted to do a couple of emails. We never do this. So Doug DeShazer, who I know is a longtime fan, he writes in, says, I have a question that only the #1 Xbox podcast team could get to the bottom of for me. So we'll forward this over to Major Nelson and we'll get back to you now. Because the Xbox One X dev kit has an upgraded SSD hard drive in it, could a Consumer X theoretically be upgraded with an SSD to see the same benefit? And the question is, or the answer to that is sort of. You can't swap out the internal drive,
Right.
Which is where the OS lives. You can totally plug in an SSD externally and store all your games on there, so that at least when you're in a game, it is pulling, it is loading things, and it's pulling off of the SSD drive. So,
And I do think that at launch, people were testing out whether or not you actually got a speed boost from SSD
yeah, Digital
versus a
Foundry
regular
did a
HDD.
huge, awesome feature on that
Yeah.
back at launch.
And if I recall right, although don't quote me on it, there was it was a small but noticeable boost in time.
Yes,
like,
I
in a
remember
matter,
it the
it was
same way.
20 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a reason Xbox has like kept with their no swappable hard drives like policy? Like PS4 is like super easily swappable, but now we've got 3 Xbox One iterations. All of them are closed case.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they've said from day one, hey, go nuts with externals, plug in whatever you want. But I'm sure it's just an ease of manufacturing thing if I had to get, but I don't actually know.
Yeah.
I mean, I get where manufacturers head at as far as they don't want their consumers opening up the box and tinkering with it and potentially messing something up.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like the Apple mentality, whether or not you agree with that.
Yeah. Of here's the thing, and when you want it to be done, upgrade it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, Doug, hope that helps you out a little bit. Let's go to an email from Joe Nintendo Iker. Says, let's talk about EA Originals. EA is a massive company. When the EA Originals program was announced last year, Patrick Soderlund announced the objective of the program as such, saying, quote, we'll seek a few projects each year for EA Originals and partner with them throughout the process of development to marketing to publishing. And Joe notes, so far we've gotten 2 announcements. FE, or however the heck you say that, Marty, FE, and this year's A Way Out, which was all of our favorite game from that conference that wasn't called Anthem because we didn't really see Anthem till the next day.
Right.
So, Faye and A Way Out. Do you feel that EA is delivering on their promise? Are they using the program simply as a goodwill ploy? A Way Out looks interesting, but I highly doubt the team behind the Acclaim brothers would have struggled to find funding for the project. This is a fair topic to bring up here, Marty. Let's talk to Joe.
So you have the two down here, and that's sort of misleading because we've already had Unraveled, and that, granted, that wasn't one of the original EA originals, but then we also have Unravel 2 in development, we know.
Yes.
And just earlier this week, they announced, I think it's called Submerged or Sunken, and it's a game. Russ Pitts, who used to work at Polygon, is writing it, and it's a really cool looking artsy game. The art sort of reminds me of Rime, but it's it's this society's been completely flooded, and so you're this character on a boat going through a city, but there's also this like giant beast underwater. It almost seems like Last Guardian-ish.
Was there a trailer for that? Because
I feel like it was just revealed a couple days ago, and it was similar
Gosh, I
to
feel like
another
I've seen
game
that
from
game.
2 years ago.
maybe that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
that
believe
sounds
that's
awesome.
one of this because I saw Soderlund's comments about how excited he was for this game. And yeah, like I think it's kind of weird that we saw Fee last year at E3 and then haven't heard pretty much anything about it since.
Not a peep.
A Way Out seems like it's one of those it'll be done when it gets done games. So I'm
They're
not
saying
holding my
early
breath for that.
2018.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, I mean, you have a note here. Who's to say that there aren't a ton in development right now that we just don't know about?
Yeah.
I would also say, like, my perspective on these is less is more, right? Like, comparing it to movies, right? Originals or is like the indie version. It would be like focus features, right? A smaller studio that puts out a smaller number of high quality movies as opposed to a big studio like Universal or, Paramount or something that puts out huge tentpole movies all the time, like a couple times a month.
Right.
Personally, for me, like, I don't see that as a problem if you're getting less games, but they're good and they're taking and it's giving indie game developers the opportunity to make a deal that's good for them and their business, but also offers them creative liberty. So you have a note here like this might be a goodwill ploy for EA, but I don't actually necessarily see that as a bad thing. Like they're empowering creators who may or may not have had the opportunity to make the game that they wanted to make, and for me that's a good thing.
And I think it's a two-way street, right? The developer benefits from the marketing muscle and prowess
stage
of
at
EA,
a press conference at E3.
and EA benefits from getting a more varied and eclectic and creative portfolio out of it that's not just FIFA and Madden.
Yeah.
Right.
And it also
Battlefield.
it has a message that goes against all. We talk about it all the time about how EA is voted the worst company in the world, which is just completely idiotic.
over oil companies.
Yeah.
Bank of America. And
But the fact that they're like helping fund games like Unravel and A Way Out, and Joseph Fares told us at E3, he's like, "Hey, I wouldn't have signed this deal if I thought EA would meddle in my game. Like they are not touching this. Like,
and
this
that's
is my game."
Yeah, because Joe is right. I mean, I'm sure Joseph Fares probably could have signed with other people, but because you get the benefits of EA and EA is going to stay out of your way. Why? I'm sure he obviously thought that was a good deal.
But also, I don't think like A Way Out on paper is sort of a risky thing because it's a two-player co-op narrative-driven game that he's pretty much been like, I want you to play it once and only once.
I was in the room when that announcement happened, when he was like, it's co-op only. Of course you can play online. And I was like, wait, did he? A bunch of people whispered like,
oh yeah,
did he say
everybody's like,
co-op
wait,
only?
huh?
Like you have to play it as two players?
Yeah. So I think this is a bit of a riskier project than people think. I mean, the showing was awesome, but I think on paper it's a tough thing to put money behind.
And it's just kind of that. It happens a lot in the movie industry when people go to Kickstarter when they probably could have. Remember when Zach Braff kickstarted that movie and people are like, Zach Braff, that
Really
dude's like
mad
a
at
star.
Yeah.
He could have gotten studio meetings all the time. And it's like, sure, he could have, but those studio meetings would have probably come with strings attached, strings that he didn't want to have. So he's got every right to do that. And same with EA and these people who are developing these indie games.
Yeah, I think it's cool.
All right.
I also want to see more Fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being like super cool looking.
It was Sweet Fox Boy. And now there's been like 7 games with Sweet Fox Boys after that. It's
Oh, no.
true. Yeah.
Final thing I wanted to say out to your point, Sean. I would rather have one Unravel or Inside or something like this a year than 12 of the things we read off for.
No, totally. And like
Marketplace.
Activision tried to get into this a couple of years ago with
the
Geometry
Sierra,
Wars 3.
The Sierra label they tried to resurrect.
Geometry Wars and King's Quest, and that sort of seemed to fiddle. Like just
And then
off the
Activision
wayside.
remembered they're only in it for giant tentpole
Oh,
hits,
did
and
he
that's
definitely?
their business model.
It
and
really,
it's clearly worked
is
for them.
less is more when it comes to these smaller things. Like those smaller studios, just if you put out one great game a year, 2 great games a year, like you're going to remember those as opposed to 10 or 15 mediocre ones or bad or worse bad ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally, Nathan from Pocatello, Idaho. Represent Pocatello, Idaho. Love it. Says, I've heard people say Xbox's first-party situation is dire, but good heavens, in the last few months, I have discovered Forza Horizon 3, and I cannot believe how great this game is. I've sunk a lot of hours into it, and it is still one of the best racing games I've played. I think when you have great first-party titles with a ton of replayability, it's okay that there isn't a ton of them. Besides, people keep talking about backlog anyway. Fair point there. So I really wanted to read this for this line. If anyone at Playground Games or Turn 10 Studios is listening, thank you for making one of my favorite games. I thought
how sweet.
we just don't. We try to remember that, but it's just always good to say that and remember that.
To his point, I have also recently discovered Forza Horizon 3, and
rules.
I am not a racing
I feel
guy.
like every time I'm on this podcast, we talk about Forza.
Yeah.
Horizon.
So,
should. The rules.
I mean, it's great. I've said this before on air. The last racing game I played, like not counting Mario Kart, was San Francisco Rush on the
Wow.
N64.
Oh, wow.
I am not
Deep
a racing guy. Not a racing guy. And after they announced the Hot Wheels
Wheels.
expansion, I was like, okay, that looks really awesome. And so I went out and got it. And man, I have been playing it a lot, and it is a blast.
I genuinely do not know how Playground Games tops that video.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why they're talented. Does not like they're gonna hopefully figure it out. But I sit here and go, I have no idea.
Well, we know it seems like they're working on a game now that's not a racing game.
Well, but that's a second team.
Yeah.
That's a second team.
Yeah,
We
we
know that
assume
for
next year we're
sure.
getting another Forza game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I'm
mean,
the same. Like I don't play racing games, but
have you played Forza though?
I played the heck out of Forza Horizon 3. Like it's super cool.
I genuinely wonder if Playground's game next year, what is certainly next year based on history.
Yeah.
If they're just going to drop the mic on Horizon and start a new
Thing.
a new Forza sub brand.
Yeah.
Like because again, how do you tell? They need a new challenge for themselves.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Racing
Probably-
trains.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be. I mean, Horizon 3, I think
It would be
really.
boring.
That's it. No, it's in Horizon 3. You race a train.
I thought you meant like you are driving the train, and I was like, that seems so boring. It's on a track.
Those games are huge in Europe. Honestly, like train simulator games where you just gotta go,
Big deal.
yeah.
But train racing games.
Yeah.
Like here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Racing.
Tracing.
So,
Racing, they call it.
but to the question
Train
though,
thing.
would you call is dire a good assessment of what you think the first party thing is of Microsoft?
I wouldn't say dire.
Party
No,
situation.
I think their first party
It's-
is good, not great.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did announce like a slew of Xbox primary whatever exclusive.
Those
games.
aren't
Well,
first-party games.
yeah, those aren't first party, and
True.
Most of
a
them are
lot of
launch
developers
exclusives.
I've talked to said launch exclusive should have a giant asterisk next to it.
And, you know,
Right.
hey, Phil has said that his next priority is the working on the first party portfolio. So yeah, I mean that's sort of a tangential admission that yes, things are a little light right now, and yeah, they did backwards compatibility, they did hardware with the S and the X, and now they need to pick up the pace on first
Yeah,
party.
in 2013, like PlayStation's first party was
it was nothing.
there was nothing.
Yeah, it was
And
all
then
in the
they're
pipeline.
Like, here's all our games, and then it all just like that's why it seems so heavy. Like
Yeah.
for the first like year or so, like they had nothing.
Yeah, I
So-
mean, they played it brilliantly. They had the marketing deals on some of the biggest third-party games
Yeah.
like Destiny and Star Wars Battlefront, and they really papered over their first-party problem with what looked like third-party,
making games
almost
first
exclusives,
party.
even though they weren't. And yeah, now they got through that obviously very strongly, and now now the first-party crop is blooming.
I
I think
just
I just
wonder.
mixed two metaphors. I don't think that works.
I just wonder if it's not an exactly apples to apples comparison with Sony and Microsoft in the first party, because Sony has like a stable of first party
11 of
developers,
them, is
right?
it, Marty?
It was 11 at a time. I think there's probably still 11.
Yeah. And their whole job is to develop games specifically for PlayStation platforms. But Microsoft has a vested interest in PC. So no matter what the state of a first party developer or a third party developer that's making a game exclusively for their platforms, it seems like it's Microsoft's best interest to put it on multiple platforms. So in reality, it doesn't seem like there will ever be a reality in which Xbox is getting just Xbox games that are AAA and big exclusives, when it could potentially make more money for the developer and Microsoft to put it on multiple platforms.
Well, yeah, and Microsoft's MO seems to be not quite games as service, but games with a tail, like we're talking about with Forza Horizons, Gears, Halo, even looking at Sea of Thieves, whereas Sony has sort of been focusing on, they might have multiplayer components, but more of single-player narrative-driven experiences like Uncharted and like
you play
Last of
Uncharted
Us
and you're done.
Yeah, and like Horizon and seemingly Spider-Man and God of War, the same thing. So it's
yeah.
I would say it's not apples to apples, but I wouldn't say Microsoft is dire, but I would say I think they're just a step behind Sony as in personally right now.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, good stuff. Let's move to the news. My favorite news of the week. I was not expecting this, given the how long Playdead has always taken with their games. And it's not to say it's not going to be a long wait, but you guys might remember after Inside shipped last year, there was a divorce that became kind of bitterly, well, not like it was they were bickering in public, but the details of it became public between Dino Patty and can't remember the other person's name. I feel real bad right now because
Pino Daddy.
That's probably it. But anyway, the sort of two primary co-founders and leads at Playdead, they parted ways, and so Dino ended up not at Playdead. He has now formed a new studio called Jump Ship. Yeah, wink, wink. I get it. See what you did there.
He went for it.
Let's Respawn.
Yeah,
You know,
this is smart.
Developers like to do this stuff, and it's fun. I appreciate it. Better than the name, though, is the teaser for
The game.
Dino's new game. It is called Somerville, and it's about a 60-second teaser. Sean, please tell me you've seen this because you're a film guy. Oh, dude.
It's really good.
Sorry.
It's really good.
Look it up.
Yeah, should I watch it?
Yeah, look it up
What's
while I'm
hilarious
talking.
is I posted on Twitter, and because I was like kind of chilled by the lack of music, and Inside and Limbo don't really have music, and they just have like ambient sounds.
So I remember, look how it's spelled. Make sure.
I remember watching it, and it was very weird. And so there's only like one screenshot you can get from it. Like, just maybe the lasers will be in different, variations. And so I put it on Twitter, and then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to check my Twitter. And I scroll down, and your tweet was like 4 under me, same screenshot talking about the game.
Yeah, I mean, it has a very sort of minimalist War of the Worlds vibe to it, which I think is awesome. And again, we don't know what the actual gameplay is like, but if it's, maybe we could take a cue from Limbo and Inside and this sort of, I don't even know if it's post-apocalyptic, but like just apocalyptic. Yeah.
All we got was, as far as the description goes, is a let me start that sentence over. Yeah. It's a sci-fi action adventure that chronicles the lives of key individuals in the wake of a global catastrophe.
Yeah.
And call me crazy here, guys, or agree with me. That would be even better. I wonder if Dino took the art director of Limbo and Inside with him, because the vibe, the art in the trailer very much has an Inside in color vibe, which itself is a evolution from Limbo's.
Even a little, I think a little bit more.
It.
Yeah, a little
that's
bit
really
more
cool.
color than Inside.
That's it.
Yeah, and I think the juxtaposition of like the farmhouses in the foreground and these like monolithic spaceship things in the background.
I feel like Inside was
Guys,
all about
I've now seen it.
Okay, good.
Congrats.
I can
Now we can start talking about it.
It's like Inside was always about drawing your eye to a certain, like you see a screen, you're like, what am I supposed to do? And it's like, but the light always like guides you to show you like, hey, maybe there's something over here. And that's kind of how it was with Somerville, where it was like, here's some like fields and stuff, but this is where you should be looking. I feel like the color just gradually gets more and more deep in that top right corner. It felt super Inside.
Well, one of the things that I found really interesting about both Limbo and Inside is that they're primarily, in terms of gameplay, 2D games. What you're doing is in a 2D aspect.
Yeah.
But the way your eye is drawn is very three-dimensional and very depth oriented.
Yeah.
Like there are lots of times when you're doing something in the foreground but looking at something in the background.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. It feels like it's this fleshed out world. And just based on basically that one shot that I saw in this Somerville trailer, like it seems like that same sort of thing, right? Like you mentioned the houses and like the planes in the foreground, but then that giant skyscraper and like what appears to be like a space battle, or at least like anti-air cannons like firing in the background. Like
I don't think that's
sounds
a
so cool.
skyscraper. It looked like an alien.
It looks like a
Space
Oh, really?
monolith,
Did I not-
skyscraper.
monolith. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is kind of why
Space
I don't watch things on my phone.
But
Yeah, it looks cool.
I'm suddenly reminded, Playdead, the current Playdead, which is not Dino. Remember they put out a piece of art for their next game. Remember that a few months ago? And the joke was that it was outside. Are you remembering this now, Marty?
Yeah, now I
And
do.
what's funny is Somerville is also
Look,
outside.
it's outside.
So it'll be interesting to see how those two games end up.
Be a Deep
end
Impact
up turning
Armageddon
out.
scenario.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Bugs Life Ants.
that's right. It happens.
Yeah.
This is so bad.
Talking about Ansel.
DreamWorks learning the ropes back in the day. All right, so yes, if you have not watched that Somerville teaser, please look it up on
It's like
IGN.
30 seconds. Just watch
Yeah,
it.
and it's Somerville. It's Somer, Somerville.
Also, if you haven't played Inside, you're arrested.
I
Still,
was just about to say,
You're
like, I'm
arrested
gonna go
by
play that
cops.
again.
still my
Inside-
game of the
Inside
year.
is like 30 seconds. Just play. No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Still,
agree with you.
yeah,
It was
still my game of the
that
year, and
too.
it's still not close. It's
Inside's
time has done nothing to.
What was game of the year that year? IGN's
Overwatch.
game of the year.
We give it over.
Yeah, we were wrong,
I don't know. I mean,
100%.
I mean, The Witness was clearly the game of the year. But
I think
wait. So we all three of
almost
us
like
waited.
we all-
What's your game of the year that
So
year?
we're talking about
Last year.
2016.
last year.
Yeah.
Were you in the Overwatch contingent
No,
at IGN?
no.
Like nobody on this show.
I mean, I get why Overwatch.
Yeah, I
is.
respect
I
it.
get it.
Yeah.
I played it a little bit. It would probably be Inside. Inside was so good.
It's the correct answer.
3 out of 4.
But actually, no, I'd probably
Unlocked game of the year.
I'd probably say Uncharted 4. But Inside was really close.
Yeah.
somewhere from
Fair
Australia, Alana's screaming Dishonored 2.
Yeah.
She is. Just, Dishonored!
Is that what
your
your
lo-
sounds like?
No,
Very British.
that was not
I
at
haven't
all.
talked to her in
Crikey.
about a week, but man,
Dishonored.
There you go. That's better.
Closer. She's still cringing. Okay.
that's a breakout. Just
Are-
that right.
Well, no, speaking of breakouts, so this is, I think, very justifiably got Xbox fans upset, and I think this is real dumb on, not on the fans' part, on the company's part, on Activision's part. I thought that the Call of Duty 4 Remastered standalone release was inevitable. I thought it was going to happen in January or February.
Same.
After that initial holiday surge of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare sales happened, and where you had to buy it with the $80 edition in order to get the Call of Duty 4 Remaster. I was off by about 6 months. That remaster is out by itself this week for $40. Still has paid DLC in it, by the way, multiplayer DLC. However, it's not on Xbox.
Or
and
PC.
there is, or PC. There is no date for it as of now. It's PS4 first with, quote, according to Activision, other platforms to follow. This is simply stupid.
Pretty dumb.
This is real dumb. It's one thing if you are making a deal for timed exclusivity on
Right.
a Tomb Raider, a brand new trip. I mean, even that was, we've covered that a million times of, like, yeah, Tomb Raider or Street Fighter V had their own equal levels of dumb to them. But
Right, but there's
you
also
can understand
like,
it.
theories that those games may not have been may have been helped with funding because of that.
Of course.
This game is done.
Right. But what,
It was
but that's
done.
not even
10 years
that's
ago.
not even the dumb part. That's the dumb part. It's a timed exclusive on a 10-year-old video game.
Right.
That is the most absurd thing
Yeah.
I have read this week,
also
and I
can't
spend
believe
all day
it's-
reading the internet,
Yeah.
Marty.
I also can't believe it's $40.
$40.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
from
That's
the-
more than Infinite Warfare. I think you can get Infinite Warfare for like $30 now.
From the company that brought you the $20 remaster of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Which was
Or no,
just-
sorry, no, not 20. That was 42. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
it
had-
just dropped down to 20
Yeah.
in the Sony sale this week.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I guess I'll just pop in my backwards compatible 360 copy and play it then.
I mean, the remastered of this is really good.
It is.
Like this is like
a lot of great work went into it. by Raven
totally.
And
But this $40 with paid DLC and not available on everything right now is it's really dumb. And this is, again, anti-consumer. We talk about that sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I beat the drum about this topic on our Fire Team Chat, our Destiny podcast, because for the last couple years, Xbox players have kind of gotten the shaft when it comes to platform exclusive content.
finally getting that gun soon, though.
Oh yeah, actually,
after Destiny 2 comes out.
After Destiny 2,
That's the thing right
it
now. If
irks
you look
me
at
so
this
much.
this chain of events where it's like Destiny 2 is most of that stuff exclusive until 2018. Then it's like, here's some Destiny 1 stuff after Destiny 2 comes out. So great.
Yeah.
And then Call of Duty 4. It feels
I mean,
But yeah.
I want to put I want it on the record because I don't think I've talked about it too much on Unlocked. I talk about it all the time on Fireteam Chat, but I'm against platform exclusive content of any kind, regardless of which way it goes. I think it's anti-consumer, right? In these situations, though, there's like an extra level of cynicism. That's
Thank
the
you.
right word.
Yeah. Nailed it.
I'm in a room full of journalists. I got to use the right verbiage here. But like, this is a 10-year-old game. This is a game that we've all experienced. I mean, that many players had experienced before on the PS3 and Xbox 360 generations. It seems ultra cynical to put something great out there that gamers want to play, and that for a game that had a lot of goodwill, and then alienate a huge chunk of the audience for some presumably simply financial reason.
Sure.
For on the business side.
I mean, hey, I get Sony saying yes to it as part of because this is clearly part of their whole
works better for
their
them.
whole Call of Duty marketing association and deal that they have with Sony. But I mean, Activision, if they had thought a moment about fans, should have said, "Oh, well, we're exempting this. This is not going to be."
Especially
part
like,
of that." And I can't imagine Sony would have really batted an eyelash.
yeah,
at that.
I feel like the original Modern Warfare is one of those third-party games that is also synonymous with the 360, just because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
I was
so
just going to
easy.
say,
just
a
mind share
a
at the time.
decade ago.
Yeah.
Like, man,
Yeah, it
Xbox
sucks.
and Call of Duty. And
Yeah.
now a decade later, and it's like,
So, silly Activision. Thumbs down on this one.
Gave you the thumbs down.
Thumbs down. You can't.
You got them with
Not
with
taking
the
it back.
cat-free thumb down.
Yeah.
Sean gave it 2.
Good luck recovering from that multi-billion-dollar
Yeah, I think that-
corporation.
to be honest, I think Activision will be fun.
They'll survive.
It's the gamers that will be fine.
All right. Couple last quick notes here. Raf Colantonio, he is the. Hope I pronounced his last name
I think
right.
you got it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
He's the studio head at Arcane, makers of Dishonored and most recently Prey. He is stepping down. He put up a blog on Bethesda's website saying, quote, in part, quote, "The last 18 years have been an amazing adventure, from starting Arcane in 1999 to making our first game, Arx Fatalis, to joining ZeniMax in 2010 and releasing the Dishonored series and Prey to critical acclaim. It is time for me to step out, to spend some time with my son and reflect on what is important to me and my future."
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, spent
He's earned
nearly 2 decades doing this.
Yeah.
Take a break. Take a little sabbatical.
Do I get to do that after?
Once you hit your 20-year
I'm
mark.
at 15
Yeah.
years. I'm getting
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
5 more.
Just release a couple Dishonored games.
I've been taking
release-
a
Dang it!
vacation
Is that
yet.
I have to actually make
Yeah.
something someone wants and someone likes?
Yeah. I think it's great. I don't think this
Yeah, good
is.
for him.
A lot of times when you have these studio departures, like we talked about the Playdead stuff, a lot of times there's a lot of drama behind
Yes.
it, or we worry like, oh, does this mean the sky is falling?
Right.
I think this paragraph just sums it up perfectly. I've been doing this a long time, and I'd like a breather and spending time with my family, which is more important than video games.
Makes me think of like Jack Trenton. So like PlayStation was in a bad spot, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like PS4 is like amazing, and Jack Trenton's like, cool. All right, guys, I'm out.
He talked
it's
about
like-
that. I interviewed him for IGN Unfiltered, and he
Yeah.
talked about that very thing.
Where he's just like, it's like, why would you leave on top? And it's like, you would say that Prey and Dishonored 2, amazing games. It's like,
Drop the mic.
it's like, he's just, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I've done it.
I think it also shows faith in the people who are still there, whether
Yes,
it's
Harvey Smith.
Yeah, whether it's Arcane and Leon or in Austin. Like I
Mm-hmm.
fully expect whatever they do next after the was it Mask of the Outsider, Death of the Outsider,
Oh, the
Dishonored
sort of standalone expansion
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's coming out.
whatever's after that. I'm assuming it's going to be up to the same quality as everything we just mentioned. Also, I forgot they did Arx Fatalis. I like that game a lot.
Yeah, that was always one of those really good idea games
Yeah.
that never could quite put all its pieces
Sure,
together
sure,
into
sure.
one like mind-blowing sort
Yeah.
of package, which they took that leap with Dishonored.
Yeah.
But
I also admire people who reassess their life at like regular periods and try and take like the next step. Because clearly he's at the head, or was at the head of a very successful studio, had great creative and I'm sure critical and commercial successes in games. Once you've hit that level, it's I imagine, very easy to be like, I can just coast and chill and do whatever and make a bunch of money and then keep doing the same thing over and over again. Personally, as an artist, I find it inspiring when people take a look at their success and be like, how do I get to the next level?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and another trend for like game devs is there's a good chance he'll be back in a year with an indie studio.
I think that's a. I mean, I was going to bring up Cliff Bleszinski.
Yeah, that's exactly what
retired
I was thinking of.
now.
He retires and then Lawbreakers.
I don't know how. I don't know what Raph's life is like. Like Cliff has also on Unfiltered. We learned Cliff has FU money.
He's got a lot of money
from the Facebook buyout of Oculus. He was an early investor, so Cliff could and did walk away, but the itch started up for Cliff again, and he started a new indie studio and now has Lawbreakers. So yeah, I wouldn't at all be surprised if
basically
you're right.
What I'm saying, Ryan, is in 5 years when you leave, you're just going to start your own Xbox podcast.
I mean, I think it depends on the person, but like you talk to Cliff. I remember we'd had Cliff on the show and through IGN of many times before he retired. He knows us, we know him. The moment he retired, there was speculation about like, oh, is he done forever? And I was like, have you talked to that dude? Like, he is so passionate about games. There's no way he's done. There's no way he's done. And I have the same sort of sense, even if I've never met or even talked to this guy, Raph, that like people who are so driven in to make sort of games that attain this level of critical and commercial success that passion doesn't just like evaporate.
Yeah. And he may have some smaller ideas.
Yeah, totally.
There are not. I mean, there are not a lot of Barry Sanderses out there who drop the mic and never come back. There's a lot more Michael Jordans out there who like, all right, I'm coming back and I'm done and I'm coming back again.
I imagine like a guy like,
and that's okay.
If you're creative, a guy like Cliff who leaves, and so the second he leaves and he reads something that says, "Is this the next Gears of War?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm not like that." all right, here we go. Yeah, this guy's gonna leave, and someone's gonna be like, "Is this the next Dishonored?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm coming back."
I could totally see that. So we'll see. But in the meantime, best wishes to Raph, and that's awesome for you and your family. Finally, this week, Phil Spencer, just a quick note on Twitter, saying that over 1 million people have downloaded Phantom Dust, which is it's not a remaster, it's just kind of a re-release of the original Xbox game, but for Xbox One.
The first step towards backwards compatibility.
Exactly. It is free, so why not give it a try if you have not already?
Yeah.
It was the very definition of a cult classic. It was so cult, even I didn't play it back working at OXM.
Wow.
But I never played it. Yeah. This one slipped through the cracks on me.
Did you play this one? Like now that
I haven't played it yet.
Oh, you haven't played it.
Yeah. It still slipped through the cracks on me.
The cracks have only gotten bigger.
There's too many new good games. Yeah, but it is what it is. So yeah, give it a go. It's still out there. It's still free if you are interested in checking it out. Mark Medina.
That's me.
I'm gonna go your way, my friend. What can we spend our money on besides a free copy of Phantom Dust?
Yeah.
For Xbox One.
It says none. Back to you.
Nothing. Back to me. That's, how about digitally? How about if you turn on your Xbox?
All right, digital. Valkyria Revolution. It's like a RPG thingy.
The official genre classification.
An RPG thingy?
Yeah.
If you need me to give reviews for all these games. Diablo 3.
Might have helped us when we were classifying our top 100 RPGs of all time if we included.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you should have asked.
Yeah.
Diablo 3 Eternal Collection includes all DLC, including the new Necromancer for $40.
This game rules.
And apparently the Necromancer is super good.
I sunk, I don't know, 700 hours into Diablo when it first came
Diablo
out.
3
into 3?
3 and
on
Reaper
PC?
of Souls combined, and on PC.
Okay, yeah.
So much so that like when I was looking over James Duggan's shoulder over there, one of our other producers, and he was playing the new Necromancer, I was like, oh my god, that looks awesome.
Again.
I want to play.
Yeah.
I talked to James. He's like, it's Diablo 3 with the Necromancer. He's like, but the Necromancer is it's super cool.
Yeah.
So
Also, just Diablo 3 is dated now, but it's
so fun.
cool.
And it's so good on
uh,
console too.
yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
it's super fun on console.
It's
I played it mostly
arguably-
on PC. But
I think it's arguably better on Xbox One or PS4, only because I think the controls. No, dude,
It's different. It's good.
I am diehard. Diablo 1, I go back to Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and the first time I played Diablo 3 when it first came out was on PC. I think it just is awesome.
I mean, it
with
is
the
really,
gameplay.
really good.
And with the split screen, the same screen co-op.
That's true.
That's cool.
It's like it's arcadey in a way. It's more
yeah,
arcade.
I was
than
gonna
the
say, it
PC
feels
version.
more like a twin stick shooter on
Yeah.
console,
Yeah.
opposed to
fair.
because you use your mouse to move.
Yeah.
on the
Also, like
PC version.
every class has a role, which is not how the PC version is.
Yeah.
I just think like I played it first on PC, so maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but just like the effects and the enemy number on screen, like you can't replicate it on console. Like there's just so many more enemies on screen in the PC version, and you
But
feel
it's-
like you're just tearing through like hordes and hordes of.
But
demons.
it's
really cool.
phenomenal on the console.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm not trying to slight it. I do love the console version a lot. That was the first game I got on Xbox One when it came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Moving on, the Golf Club 2. Finally,
We're fine.
getting that sequel.
We're fine.
I
We
didn't ask for
Uh,
this.
Do you think you have to play the Golf Club 1?
understand why how his wife.
Do you
died.
have to watch the first 301 episodes of Podcast Unlocked?
His wife is in the
Understand
club.
what's happening on this one?
Oh, Fire Commando.
I love you, honey.
Broken Age.
Yes.
It says yay.
Thank good. Finally.
Yeah.
Oh, this is such good news.
God, it's been, what,
now
2
everyone
years?
can play this.
Over 2 years,
Yeah.
I think,
I think
since
so.
it came to PS4 and PC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Broken Age is the massively successful crowdfunding adventure game from Double Fine,
Yeah.
Tim Schafer. Gorgeous art, super
Real
smart
good.
puzzles, and super endearing characters. Funny as heck. If you don't know what the game is about, don't read it. Just go play it.
Yeah, cannot recommend it enough.
This is the game that like put like Kickstarter on the map, right? Like,
This is one of the
much. Yeah,
first
just about,
major
right?
giant successes. Yeah, this and Shovel Knight. Yeah,
cool. Chess Ultra.
yeah, we're fine. It's,
Okay.
Keep moving.
Play real
Get,
chess.
get even.
This is a weird Polish murder mystery time travel game that I've been reading about for years. I'm not gonna play
Okay.
it.
Cool.
And now back to you.
That's reading about
That's
it
my
for
hot
years.
take. I want everyone to know what I thought
Now-
of Get Even.
Marty's like, I'm over it. Grim Legends 2 Song of
Marty's
the
choosing to
Dark
get
Swan.
mad rather than get even.
I just got apathetic.
Mark
Get,
saw where I was
get
going with that.
apathetic.
yeah.
Grim Legends 2 Song of the Dark Swan.
No, you can't name a game that.
That's a pretty bad name. It's not good.
That's weird.
Come on.
Yeah, not great.
Okay, Marketplace. Wait, what's the difference between the Marketplace?
If you already have Diablo 3 and just want to grab them,
okay. So
Yeah.
you can get the Necromancer for just $15, which that's not terrible.
I mean,
that's a little steep if you ask me.
Think
But
so?
I mean, yeah, you can play through the whole game again, but
I guess it depends on like how different it is. I don't know. Anyways, I mean, how much are DLC characters for like
I guess I
fighting
shouldn't-
games?
I don't know. That's a good
not
question.
$15. I don't think.
Sure, but I
I mean, I suppose I shouldn't
feel like you can
quibble
arguably
because-
do more than
I guess because
with
what
the
the game is, it takes at least 10, 12 hours to roll through the game, and if you wanted to roll through the whole thing
As a new
15
character.
yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not that bad.
But again, yeah,
well,
the
once
other
you beat the game, then you get the champion levels. I mean, that game lasts
yeah,
forever.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like you underestimate like the majority of the game happens after you beat the campaign and max out your character. Like that's when you start
Yeah.
getting all your Paragon points and start like leveling up for Torment and all that. Like
Touche.
that's-
Yep.
I don't know. You end up spending a lot of time in that game. It's like Destiny.
So the June Games with Gold, we got Speedrunners. That's almost over. It ends on the 30th.
yep.
Watch Dogs, that ends. That's
Still
the
going.
middle of July, so you still got time. Dragon Age Origins ends on the 30th as well, and Phantom Dust, the DLC for Phantom
Free
Dust
DLC, yes.
is still the 30th. And then for July with Games with Gold, we have Grow Up. That's for all of July. Runbow, which is July 16th through August 15th. Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days, all of first half of July. And Lego Pirates of
Soundtrack by Florence and the Machine.
Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game, last half of July. Also, we make videos showing what gameplay is for all these, so you guys should watch.
Which is good because I legitimately I am not familiar with Grow Up or Runbow.
Yeah.
So
Well, there-
Grow Up was the Ubisoft indie game where you sort of climb up a
Bud.
beanstalk as like a little.
yeah.
Rumbo's a fun multiplayer game. It's solid month. This is an amazing month, but all four of
It's
these games.
free.
Kane and Lynch 2 has some really interesting ideas. I like the fact that it's this competitive co-op of where you can sell your buddy out in order
Yes.
to get more money at the end of a level. I
Yes.
really like that. And the Lego Pirate game is just a charming Lego game as any.
Yeah, somebody in the comments was talking about, because people were saying it's kind of a weak month, but somebody was saying like, don't write off Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. Like this one guy was like championing it, was talking about how good it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's just 4 solid games.
It's free.
Mhm.
Get them.
It's free.
Yeah.
Why not? It's July, so
Yeah.
what else? There aren't any new games to play.
Well,
And for the
Crash
comments,
Bandicoot.
we know it's not free. We know you have to pay for the
We're on
subscription. They're free.
Xbox, Marty, Xbox.
Also, the game's 20 years old.
That too. That too. All right, let's move to the Unlock Block trivia segment. Will Fabian, whose gamer tag is Billy3Sticks with an X at the end, he sends in our question this week. It is Splinter Cell related. You guys remember that I chose the hill to die on with my E3 prediction, hoping that Splinter Cell was going to happen. Didn't happen. I'm not surprised it didn't happen, but nevertheless, Will picking up the torch and asking a Splinter Cell related trivia question this week. He says, Don Jordan is the voice for Irving Lambert in all the Splinter Cell games. Now, Irving Lambert's your boss, the guy giving you your missions and talking to you in your ear throughout your missions. So he was, Don Jordan played Irving Lambert in every Splinter Cell game except for one. Since everybody's talking about original Xbox backwards compatibility right now, and I very badly want Chaos Theory to be added to that list, who was the voice actor that played Lambert in that one game that wasn't Don Jordan, which happened, and that game was Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, which was the second game.
It's a good video game.
It was real good. It introduced Spies vs. Mercenaries multiplayer. The campaign was very excellent as well. So who played Lambert in Pandora Tomorrow? Was it Dennis Haysbert, Samuel L. Jackson, Mike Coulter, or Chad L. Coleman? Do you gentlemen know the answer to this? I actually do know this one because I'm obsessed with Splinter Cell.
Okay. I sort of think I know it, so I'm going to go last.
All right. I'm going to go Sean's way first.
I have no idea, but I think 2 of them are definitely not it. So I'm going to go with A, Dennis Haysbert.
Okay.
Chad L. Coleman sounds like a made-up name.
Mark Medina.
Samuel Jackson sounds like a made-up name, so I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with C. Mike Coulter. Why not?
All right. We're going with
I'm really glad Destin's not here to start screaming about Locke.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know who Chad Coleman is. For some reason, I immediately, before I even read the answers, I was like, Dennis Haysbert's done voices in Splinter Cell. And I don't know if it was this character, and I don't know if any of that's real. I just know he's the president on 24, and I feel like 24 was really popular during Pandora Tomorrow.
Oh.
I'm going to go with that. Hey.
all right. I see your logic. We have 2 Dennis Haysberts and
Oh.
a Mike Coulter.
Thought he was going to give it to us. I preemptively celebrated. Wait, am I right?
Now you can celebrate. Yes, you
Yeah.
got Dennis Haysbert. Good job,
The shark is
gentlemen.
on the board.
Yeah,
Good point.
finally. You've had
Did it.
a donut on there all year.
Well, to be fair, I'm rarely on the show.
I know,
So,
but it's fun to give you credit.
I'm with you,
anyway.
buddy.
yeah.
I have
Mark,
like a couple points.
Mark still
Are
ahead of
you?
you.
Oh,
Yes.
Mark has 2.
We need to let you start
depressing
chiming in from the
Ryan
control
offered
room.
at the beginning of the year, and I was like, I don't know if that's professional. I mean, I don't.
Yes,
care.
the
I'm
show.
just worried my boss
The
is gonna be
utmost
like,
professionalism.
I'm just worried my bosses are gonna be like, Finnegan, why are you chiming in over the PA, man?
It's like an hour into the episode. No one listens that far.
They can't. And Marty, you have tied Destin for the year lead, 8 points.
Suck it, D-Money.
So we've got ourselves a ball game.
Real
as they like
competitive.
to say.
So wait, is Chad L. Coleman a real person?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I definitely haven't heard of him.
He may very well be an incredible Broadway actor that all of us are just completely unfamiliar with.
What year was Pandora Tomorrow?
That was 2000. Nope, hold on. Splinter Cell was 02. I think it was 04. I want to say it was spring 04, because then Chaos Theory was spring 05, because it was back to the Montreal team. Pandora Tomorrow was done by Shanghai, Ubisoft Shanghai.
I've never played a Splinter Cell game. Ever.
It's an out, dude.
Dude.
It's an out.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
I'm not mad. We're just disappointed.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm kind of mad.
Like every time I come on the show, it's like talking about a game I haven't played. Oh, or a whole series. Mass Effect.
You shouldn't have brought that up. You're digging your own grave deeper here.
You haven't played. You played right.
Now
Andromeda.
I've played Andromeda. The best Mass
one.
Effect.
Oh, man.
That like I know you're joking, but it still kind of cuts me because I love Mass Effect, the first one.
If you would like to try and stump the panel, please send your Xbox-related trivia question. Include 4 multiple-choice answers, and note the correct answer in your email, please, and email that to unlocked@ign.com. Again, we're just playing for fun these days. The winner at the end of the year gets that trophy that's being made by one of our awesome listeners, as we speak. Let's go home, shall we? It is lunchtime.
Go home?
Or in
No,
Marty's
we have several hours of meetings.
time. I remind you that IGN Prime is an excellent way to get an ad-free experience on IGN while also keeping the lights on around here, keeping us employed. $30 per year will get you an ad-free experience on IGN videos and IGN's desktop website, and I think mobile too. And you can sign up for that at IGN.com/Prime if you're interested. Marty?
Yes.
Who are you? Where can we find you? And
You can follow me on all the things at McBiggity with 2 G's and 2 T's. We brought this up earlier. We put up a bunch of tech features, and a lot of them don't make any sense. But one of them was a roundup of the best 4K TVs on the market right now, for gaming specifically. And so a lot of people ask, especially with the announcement of the Xbox One X, that if folks want to jump into that finally this fall, that they want to upgrade to a 4K TV, which one do I choose? This feature has sort of a wide price range and sort of the best one in each range. And then you mentioned that you found out which one we have in the office.
Yeah,
right?
people keep asking me.
Yeah.
So it is the Samsung KS8000 series. We have the 65-inch out there because we have a giant space for it. That would not fit in my home if I had the money for it. But yeah, it comes in different sizes.
Different sizes. And a bunch,
KS8000.
Yeah, and a
Samsung.
bunch of individuals have bought the Altano pair. Caleb have all purchased that, and they all are very happy with it. So,
Yes.
there you go.
Sean.
Follow me on social at Shop by Finnegan. It's post E3, a lot of great E3 coverage out there that we produced that no one has even found yet just because there's so much of it. So head to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/IGN to check that out. Also, I co-host a Destiny show here on IGN called Fireteam Chat with our own Destin Legary, Fran Mirabel, and CJ Gibson. And if you're into that kind of thing, well, it's about to get real interesting for you because we have the beta for Destiny 2 coming up in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the sequel, a full sequel, coming out in just a few months. So we're going to have a lot of cool coverage, especially in this next
Not
month.
even. It's like 2 months and change now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close.
It's right around the corner.
You'll finally have impressions of that gun coming to Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'll make a special feature about the gun that PlayStation players have had for 2 years now.
Yeah.
That we will finally on Xbox get to try out after the sequel is released.
Real topical.
Yeah. So keep an eye out on IGN for a bunch of Destiny stuff coming up in the next few months.
Cool.
Mark?
Social at Mark_Medina. Let's see. In the post E3 world, it's been like, so the Steam summer sale is going on right now. So it's just, I feel like my life has been making videos to show people what games they should be playing, like before, like, fall hits. So it's like, this is what's on Steam summer sale, or me and one of the features people, Chloe, here's awesome games you missed, and it's indie focused. And it's basically been my life right now.
Doing some reader service. That's good.
Yeah. Just like, here are some really cool games you should play. And Steam Summer Sale is awesome. So
Yeah.
They're really cheap, too.
I am at DMC_Ryan. You can find me on Twitter. Unfiltered, IGN Unfiltered just wrapped up for another month. So we're going back after this. We've been, well, long story short, starting with next month, the July episode, we're going back to just the one full video rather than like trying to do a chunk of it each week. People seem to just want the whole thing. We're going to go back to that. I'm really excited about July's guest. It's one of my legit game design heroes. He's the maker of what I would consider what is one of my top 5 games of all time. So looking forward to sharing that interview. Probably, I think it's going to be the middle of July. We'll publish that. And
I produced that episode, and I don't know who you're talking about.
that's because we shot like 5 of them in a week, and we've been rolling them out.
Sean had his eyes
every
closed the
month.
whole time. He was trying to guess by voice.
I mean, I was here. I remember. They were all fascinating. I just don't know which one you're referring to.
Yeah.
It was also like months ago now.
It was back during GDC.
GDC, yeah.
Everybody was in town, so
Very cool.
Shot a bunch of them. Anyway, that wraps it up. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you do not already. We're at youtube.com/IGN Unlocked, or subscribe audio-wise on any of your favorite podcast services. For Mr. Medina, Finnegan, Mr. Sleva, I'm Ryan McCaffrey. This was Unlocked 302, and we'll see you next week.